All right, so Miso put out a video the other day and you guys blew his back out. It got to the point where he changed the title of his video, and also he just made a video addressing kind of the topic in the conversation. After the initial video, me and him actually had a little talk because I talked to him about it and told him kind of why I feel like he got that kind of response. And he did make his own valid points like, hey, if you're having too much troubles doing everything on all of these characters, maybe you should play less characters, which is something I completely stand by. But I don't really think he got the core issue that people had. And if you watch my video on progression, you actually saw me talk a little bit about the situation, which was like a minute of me talking about how communities generally don't feel like the MMO streamer represents them. And now it's turning into a whole out video, which ironically, that's what I originally intended it to be. But anyways, as somebody whose job is in content creation, I align more closely to the average player in the community than I do with the streamer. So then when I do see some of these streamer takes and streamer point of views, I absolutely get where the community is coming from because I feel a little bit of it too. There are different moments where I'm just like, bruh. So again, this is a situation of people, the community, just feeling like the streamer does not represent them, as they had a very different experience with the game as they were just playing in a completely different environment. And the streamers, or even just big creators, they are more akin to public figures, as what they say and do tend to have a big effect on the game, the community, as it just kind of echoes it out. There are very simple examples of this, like say tier list talk, or people saying X class is shit and then everybody's gatekeeping that class, or saying some class is absolutely jacked and suddenly everybody's building it and that class becomes super expensive to play. To this day, we still feel the effect of everybody talking about you have to have the roster 6, you have to have these 5 characters to fund to your 6, and then everybody went unhinged and made it to a 6 main situation. So for better or worse terms, they are absolutely influencers. So I'm going to use Stoops here because I think he is, well, the most loved and hated creator of the Lost Ark platform. On top of that, he is the most extreme of these scenarios. So Stoops and other creators, they get to log into Lost Ark and play it as their job. They get to stream it and get money for it. This is part of their 9 to 5. It might also be like YouTube and stuff like that. But regardless, this is their job. But also you can see him swipe here and there. And on top of that, you can also see people just mailing him things, giving him gold, giving him materials just to help the hones, help the push. He has a large community of people who also play the game that are willing to play with him, to the point that he starts a lobby and everybody just tries to fight to get in. And so most players don't really have that, well, I guess we'll call it privilege. So since these people will experience watching, this leads to two very, very different experiences between a streamer or somebody who spends a lot of money versus somebody who doesn't. And then more often than not, the grinder tends to disregard anything the streamer has to say because they had these advantages and then they just don't trust what they say. What they say doesn't align up with them, so you know, it's wrong to them. No, this isn't me saying that Stoops or the streamer is bad, because the truth is like these people had to grind their way up to being that way as a streamer. I still remember watching Stoops make videos about trying to do solo queue in WoW Arena way before it actually happened and way before he quit. Then we have the swiper who just, you know, is able to bypass a lot of the grind, and then we have the grinder who just, you know, plays the game like a job. And the truth is like the streamer and the swiper, they still spend a lot of time on the game. It's not like they don't play the game. Because like, let's be honest, you have to hardcore swipe to actually not need to do anything. This game ain't cheap. But the thing is like, each one of these 3 categories, they all have valid opinions because they're all playing the game how they should be playing it. Unless they're outright cheating, which I mean, you know, there's probably a lot of RMT going on, but that's like pretty much everybody in every category. But what they say is valid. But the grinder will feel like their voice is going unheard because the streamer says something else. Overall, I think this gives people the same feeling when a millionaire streamer says streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. The people working the 9 to 5 are just disgusted. And so now we get to go back to Miso's discourse, because there were comments who claimed privilege bias, and they pointed out the fact that, hey man, like I have so much to do, like this game takes up so much of my time, I'm happy that it's taking less these old raids. And I'm gonna be real, like a big problem of this whole situation is that he did not label the video as like an opinion piece. It was game too easy, this is why, and then later in the video he clarified this is my opinion and I do think it's better for the game, but you know, by then everybody was just tilted. My opinion is that like if you're mech pushing in Theamine and Kidna, I don't see why not. Like Theamine is 8 months old or so if he came out in April. 8 months of gear grinding. Now we got tier 4, we got the arc passive, we have hyper awakening, all that. You should be able to dunk on this guy. You're not doing Theamine 8 months later to get the prog experience. You're doing it for the gold, or you're doing it to parse, or you're doing it as your job. So of course you want to kill him fast for the gold, and you're going to want to do a lot of damage to parse. So getting stronger, yeah, you should just be able to shit all over this guy. If you want the content to be as difficult as when you first experienced it, you should be doing hell modes every week basically. In my opinion, this game should have clearly defined difficulty levels. There should be a group casual difficulty, or just modified normal to be like a no wipe mechanic thing, so that's for the people who just want to get things done at the bare minimal. And then hard on or around item level should still be, you know, a bit of a challenge. And then hell mode for obviously the people who just really want to push themselves. And that's also like another big thing about this pay to win kind of game in community. You shouldn't be talking about the difficulty of the game being so easy when you're going into things so overjuiced. Like, what exactly were you expecting? This is the equivalent of going to a knife fight with an AR. Also, Stoops made a video post nerf about his first run after that, and yeah, it didn't go great. Echidna just has a lot of mechanics that early death equals re, especially when it's on a support. And that's why I do think there should be like a very casual friendly difficulty where it basically removes all white mechanics. Let it be a bunga content that's low reward. Now, for the broke boy grinders like myself, yeah, these streamers and swipers, they financially carry our asses. If they were all cheap asses like us, yeah, the servers, they would be just gone. This monetization model is all about like farming the giga whales. This is giga whale maxing. Their goal isn't to milk $5 off of everybody every month or whatever like that. Their goal is to get that one guy who's going to drop like 5 grand and then hope there's a ton more like him. Now, the interesting thing is this tribalistic hatred. On this scale, I only really see it in the MMO space. Like in the FGC, there are definitely hated people, but that is far beyond the content they make. Then when it comes to a creator like Moxie, I see nothing but praise for this guy. As somebody who does play or has played a lot of looter shooters, I see Moxie mentioned all the time, and I'm somebody who watches him myself. Discord, Reddit, even in in-game chats, I will see people praising him. And I think there are a few reasons for this. The first being that like his content is informational based. It's about builds, it's about guns, it's about just how to play the game. People tend to follow it or use it as a baseline, and then they agree with his builds generally, which gives him a lot of credibility. And then with this genre, you don't really see huge monetized progression like you do in an MMO. Yes, you can buy some power in TFD, but a lot of it's cosmetics, and a lot of it is still you had to grind out the levels and everything like that. And so his content affects the grinder differently. As they get to come home from their 9 to 5, pop up YouTube, when new character comes out, new patch comes out, and then hit play, and they're gonna hear Moxie say, "Yo guys." He is able to simplify their life and make them not think as much going through things, because then they already have a build to kind of work off of. Meanwhile, in the MMO space, it's more about personality, because let's be honest, no MMO player really wants to sit there and watch people play MMOs. At most, they're gonna maybe watch people do like a parse run or a guide run, but generally they're not going to be here just sitting there watching the streamer do Chaos Dungeon. It's not fun. Part of the reason why my videos were me paying Chaos Dungeon in my videos so you guys just use it as second screen content. Sure, I had some like notes on there, but they weren't mandatory for you to watch. So I think the type of content makes a big difference, and well, it's really hard to make guide content for an MMO. And even the people who do make guide content like Memorizer, that still is very few and far between, where they have to make other content between that and just stream regularly as well. And at this point, I really don't know where the fuck I'm going with this anymore. This might actually be more for the streamers than the community, as they question like, why are they shitting on me so much? And so when I see somebody saying Chaos Dungeon is fine as they do it as their 9 to 5, you can easily predict that, hey, they're gonna beat your ass for this one. Now I want to say that I have no beefs or problems with the people I mentioned in this video today. Stoops and Miso are two people that I talk to, well, Miso more so on the regular, Stoops is too Hollywood for my ass. But yeah, me and Miso have this conversation a little bit here and there. We do not agree eye to eye on a fair amount of things, but we still have well, at least I think we both have a foundational respect for one another. And what I guess I'm trying to get to is I hope that you can all have a fair bit of respect for the people you disagree with as well. Just like feedback on the game, I think you should be civil about it, and just with feedback on people and creators, being civil about it, having a proper conversation about it. Hey, Stoops said this, but I don't agree with this. This is why. And we did see a fair bit of that in Miso's comment section. It really is just about Stoops where people get like super angry. That man is catching strays from every direction. But I think me, you, and everybody like as grinders, if we had the opportunity to play the game like Stoops, we absolutely would. I absolutely would. I have lost all pride to not take handouts. You offer to me, I will take it. But anyways, as recording this video, PoE 2 has launched 32 minutes ago. But as expected, the game, yeah, you really can't get in right now. So I got time to edit, and we'll see how much I finish by then. So in the comments, let me know what you like and dislike about streamers and content creators. Just, you know, be civil about it. Just suppress the schizo. Stay strong. But that will be it for this week, and don't be surprised if I yap about PoE next week. We'll see what happens.